Hey everyone, welcome back to the Adult With Autism YouTube channel, or welcome if you're only just finding us. I'm Lee and I'm an adult with autism. Now, first disclaimer is that I might be a bit fidgety in my seat. You might see my eyes flickering around and stuff like that. I do also have ADHD. This makes it quite hard for me to sit still, for me to concentrate and things like that. So because I'm trying to film, I have a prompt script behind the camera and things like that. It does make me a little bit fidgety and nervous seeming. That just so you know that that's why I'm weird, basically. And before we get started, I wanted to say as well that if you like this video, if you like any of the future videos, hit subscribe, but also hit the bell icon, because then that way you can get an alert every time I post a video. And then you guys will be among the first to actually see that video, and then I'm going to see your comments first and things like that. And for this first video, I wanted to dive straight in and get into something that personally I suffer from as part and parcel with my autism, and that is selective mutism. Now, what is selective mutism? I hear you all crying out that question. Now, firstly, I would like to point out that I think calling it selective mutism is a little bit deceiving. It makes it sound like it's a choice. It's not a choice. It just happens. Anyway, let's get on with it. And I also don't want to get too hung up on all official descriptions, heaps of medical terms or anything like that. So paraphrasing kind of out of the DSM-5, which is the official classification of all the medical things to do with mental health, developmental disorders and things like that, classifies selective mutism as an anxiety disorder where a person is unable to speak in some settings, like in school, in social gatherings, that kind of thing, but they can speak perfectly well in others. For example, like when they're at home, when they're feeling a lot more comfortable and relaxed, you can speak. Selective mutism also is a diagnosis on its own. You can have absolutely nothing wrong with you and suffer with selective mutism. You can be like me, you could be like me and have selective mutism as part of your autism spectrum disorder. Or you could be somebody that suffers with anxiety, and so therefore you then get selective mutism as part of your anxiety. Because I am new to my diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder, and because of everything that's happening right now, I'm in quarantine, I can only go out once a week, so going to the doctors and things like that currently isn't important, and that means I haven't been able to speak to a GP or anybody else about the specifics of my diagnosis since I received my diagnosis report. So I don't have any kind of diagnosis of having selective mutism, but I know that I have it. I know that it's quite mild in me, so I'm lucky in that sense. The way selective mutism affects me is more than likely going to be different to how it affects anybody else. Just like everything to do with autism, you meet one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. Not everybody is the same, and it is going to present differently in different individuals. I appear to suffer with selective mutism when I'm overwhelmed or I'm tired or both. And what happens is basically my brain decides to shut down and kind of goes, if you don't need it, if it's not essential, then we're going to switch that bit off and conserve energy. And speaking, it isn't necessary. I'm not going to lose my life if I can't speak for 5 minutes. But when it is happening, it feels a little bit like I'm trapped in my own head. I'm thinking what I want to say. The words are here, they're just not coming out here. They're just stuck, and it's as though my mouth is glued together. It does happen when I'm at home. I live by myself, so that's not a massive problem, but I do have a boyfriend. When he's here, it's annoying for me. He probably loves it because, 5 minutes of peace from me talking all the time. So he's probably very happy. Now, yeah, I've mentioned my boyfriend. In the future, I'll probably do a video more about dating, relationships, and what it's like to be in a relationship with autism. But for now, we don't need to go into all these details. The important information is that actually my boyfriend's son has autism spectrum disorder. So that makes my boyfriend very understanding about when my autism affects me. He can see it coming on. He knows immediately what it is that's affecting me, and it also means he's fine when I jab him in the leg and get his attention to go grab me a drink or something to eat, because I'm so overwhelmed and tired. Not only can I not speak, but I can't move, and I just need help, essentially. When it really affects me is when it happens in public. That's when it kind of becomes a little bit annoying, and it also makes it worse because when you're out in public and you need to speak and you can't, you become more frustrated, and then I'm actually less likely to be able to get the words out, especially if I'm in a social situation and you just kind of feel that pressure and everything just zooming in on you. It really gets me when I have to go visit family. My family live 2 hours away, which might not seem like much, but I don't drive. So I have to walk 15 minutes to the train station, 2 trains, and then a 30-minute bus ride to get. So you're looking at 3 to 4 hours for me to get to my family. So I'm not going to go just for a day trip. I'm going to go for a few days. And that can be overwhelming, spending a few days surrounded by everybody, especially if it's a time of year like Christmas. This past Christmas, for example, you know, there's my dad watching TV, there's my 2 nephews in the living room playing games, and just being generally noisy for 2 young children do. And then there's pots and pans banging in the kitchen because my mum is cooking Christmas dinner, which is a wonderful Christmas dinner, by the way. I love you, Mum. Just glad to get that in there. But I get around this by going and sitting somewhere quieter. My brother was also there, so me and him, we just went off into the separate dining room and we just sat in there and talked instead. It was a lot quieter and it was really pleasant to get some one-on-one time with my brother as well. I'm lucky in that because now I have my diagnosis, my family knows, my friends know. I'm not exactly quiet about it. You know, I will tell anybody that I feel needs to know, look, I'm a little bit weird, this is why. Okay, so they're very, very understanding when I turn around and I'm like, I need to go somewhere quiet because this is too overwhelming. They understand why and they're fine with it, and they don't see it as being rude. People that don't know me, that don't know I've got ASD and things like that, and I'm just like, nope, I need to get out of here, may see that as a little bit rude. However, I'm over it. And I have to be for the sake of my own mental health, essentially. Otherwise, I'm going to stay in a situation where I'm not comfortable. It's completely overwhelming, and then, you know, selective mutism isn't the only thing that's going to kick in. It's going to affect my mental health. I'm going to get depressed, and I'm going to be, you know, want to just hole up in my house, essentially, and that's not good for me. So I'm over it. If I need to go somewhere else, I need to be quiet. You know, I'm going to say something nowadays. Like I said at the start of this video, selective mutism, it's not a choice to talk or not talk. It's, for me, it feels like a kind of block preventing me from being able to talk. But I hope that this video has been able to somewhat clarify a little bit more on what selective mutism is and how it can affect people. If you do have any more questions on selective mutism, anything else you have questions, comments, whatever, leave me a comment below and I will reply to everybody. Believe me, I will get a reply to everybody in there. And that's it for this week. I hope you're all doing well in isolation and keep safe. If you need to reach out to anybody, you've got friends, you've got family, I'm here, feel free to reach out. That's everything, and I'll see you next week with the next video. Bye. Right, we're going. Oh, still got my sunnies on. Change them for these. That's better. You guys can see me now. Hi, welcome to the Adult With Autism YouTube channel. I'm Lee. I'm an adult with autism. Ta-da. That was rubbish.